part one of the crochet cap tutorial. This is just the tutorial on how to make the actual cap. The ear video will be the next video, which will be part two. So for this project, you will need 408 yarn. I'm using red. And for the cap, you will need a 5mm hook, okay? For the ears, you will need a 4mm hook, okay? But right now, like I said, we're just focusing on the cap. First thing you're going to do is you're going to make a magic ring, and the beginner way to make a magic ring is to chain 4 and slip stitch into the very first stitch. Okay, chain 2, and then we're going to put 10 double crochet inside our ring. So once you've put 10 double crochet inside your ring, meet me back at the beginning. Okay, I've done 10 double crochet inside my ring. I'm going to get my tail and I'm going to pull it tight as I can to close that inner circle. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the second stitch up. Remember, we chained 2 in the beginning, so we're going to put the slip stitch in the second chain. So 1, 2, and slip stitch. All right, so now to start our next row, we're going to chain 2 again. And now we're going to put a double crochet into that same space where we did that chain 2. And for each stitch around, we're going to put 2 double crochet in each stitch. Again, 2 double crochet in each stitch around until the end. Do a slip stitch into the second stitch up. Okay, so I've slip stitched and I'm about to chain 2. And now our pattern is going to change. So in this chain 2 space, we're going to put a double crochet each time. Every time you start a new row and you chain 2, you put a double crochet in that same chain 2 space. Now our pattern is going to change to 2 1 2 1. So next stitch, 1 double crochet. Next stitch, 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Next stitch, 1 double crochet, and you just repeat that pattern of 1 2 1 2. Okay, I've made it to the end of my row. I'm going to again slip stitch and chain 2. Also do a double crochet in the same chain 2 space, and then the pattern is going to change again to 1 1 2. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then in that third stitch we're going to put 2 double crochet. Again, the pattern is 1 1 2. Okay, and then I'm done with the row. I slip stitch. I'm going to chain 2, put a double crochet into that same chain 2 space, and my pattern will change again to 1 1 1 2. Okay, so you guys notice how the pattern just goes up 1 double crochet each row and then an increase. Okay, this will be the last increase row, depending on the size of your hat. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about in a little bit. But again, for this row, it's an increase 1 1 2. I mean 1 1 1. Sorry, you guys. 2, which is an increase. 1 1 1, and then 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Now I have my cap right here, and this is where you decide if you need to add a row or not by putting it up on the cap. And if it covers the whole top part of your cap, then you're good to go. If you need a couple of more rows or just 1 more row to fill up the top of the cap, then go ahead and do that. But this works for just a basic regular baseball cap like this. And I got this cap from Hobby Lobby for $1.99. Once you get the diameter that you need for your hat, again, you're going to slip stitch and then you're going to chain 2. And then for the next 5 rows, we're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch while keeping in mind that once we start a new row and chain 2, we always put a double crochet in that chain 2 space. So again, one double crochet into each stitch for the next 5 rows. Okay, I'm going to show you guys this the best way I can. So now you're going to take your work and you're going to put it on top of your cap to make sure that everything is fitting correctly. So my work where I start and stop at will be in the middle right here. And I'm just going to pull everything down just to make sure I have enough rows. If you have enough rows that touches the brim, you're good. If you don't, do an extra row or two until you get to the brim. Now for back here, we're going to put stitch markers, okay? So I'm going to scoot this over and I'm going to mark this as my first spot of starting, and then we're going to crochet all the way around till we get to this spot. So let me pull this down better. And what we're doing is we're leaving this open. So we need to put a stitch marker where this opens. So mine will be like right here. And I'm going to put a stitch marker because now I'm going to start doing a row of one double crochet in each stitch all the way around till I get to my stitch marker. And then that will leave an opening right here. Okay, I have my stitch marker, so I can take this off. And again, I'm putting one double crochet in each stitch until I get to my stitch marker. So I've crocheted till I got into my stitch marker, and then I'm just going to go another row just to fill this part. So what I'm going to do is, since I made it to my stitch marker, I'm going to take my work off my hat. And then I'm going to start the row like I've been starting by chaining 2 and putting one double crochet in each stitch until I get back to this side of the opening. Okay, so I've made it back to the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to cut, and then we're going to start on our brim. Okay, so again, you're going to get your cap and you're going to put your work on your cap again so that we can put our next stitch markers where we need to put them for our brim. So I'm just making sure that everything is correctly lined up all the way around my hat. Making sure that the back space is lined up also. That's very important. Okay, so once you have your hat on, your work on your hat correctly, we're going to put stitch markers on both sides where our brim starts. So I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to put a stitch marker right here because that's where my brim starts on that side. And I'm also going to put a stitch marker on the other side where the brim starts. And I'm going to connect my yarn to either one of those points. So I'm just going to reconnect my yarn to this side. And then I'm going to chain 2. And I'm going to put one double crochet in each stitch going across until I get to my stitch marker. So I've done my first row of double crochet, and then I'm just going to chain 2 and do another row of double crochet going back. And then we're going to start decreasing. So I'm going to chain 2, turn my work, and again put one double crochet in each stitch going back all the way back down. Okay, so I have done my second row of my brim of one double crochet in each stitch. So now we're going to start decreasing, okay? Because you see how the brim starts to narrow a little bit. So we're going to start decreasing. Sorry for shaking the camera, you guys. So I've already chained two, turn my work. Now to decrease, we're going to skip the first two stitches. So 1, 2, into the third stitch, we're going to put our double crochet. All right. And then we're going to do that. We're going to double crochet one in each stitch all the way until we get to the last two stitches. Okay, I made it to my last two stitches. So I'm going to yarn over, go into this first stitch, pull through, okay? Go into the last stitch, grab my yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all. That is how I'm going to do the decrease to finish my row. Okay? Then again, we're going to decrease again. We're going to chain two, skip the first two stitches again. So we're skipping 1, 2, and into that third stitch, put your double crochet, and then you do like we did before for the previous row by putting one double crochet in each stitch until you get to the last two stitches, and then do a decrease. I'm at the end of my row where I have two stitches left. Again, I'm going to do the decrease that I showed you guys before. Okay, chain two. Now you're going to get your hat again and see where you are at on your brim. Okay, so this is how much of my brim I have. So I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do one more row of one double crochet in each stitch so that it can kind of curve over, and then it'll make it easier for us to sew. Okay, and then from here, I like to slip stitch over to where we started our brim, and then I like to do a row of single crochet just to give it like a clean um, edge. So I'm slip stitching over so that I won't have to do single crochet and then reconnect my yarn where I didn't do the single crochet at. So yeah. All right, so once I get here, I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to turn and start my single crochets. And like I said, I just think that this gives it a cleaner look to the edge of the brim. Okay, I don't know if I remember to tell you guys in the beginning of the video, make sure that your hat matches your yarn that you're using. It just looks better um, overall. All right, so I'm going to put my work on my cap, and from here you can either sew this on. So basically you would sew along um, the edges like this, sew that on to the hat like this, or you can glue. So for the purpose of the video, I'm going to use super glue, and I'm just going to super glue this down around my edges. Again, while making sure that everything is lined up correctly. So I like to start from right here. Also, if you guys want to add a ribbon for the back part, leave a little like this hole right here in between your double crochet. Make sure there's a hole right there that you're not gluing or sewing down. Okay, that gives, that's where we're going to put our ribbon through. But if you're not putting a ribbon here, disregard this. And I just go around carefully just on the base of everything. Thin layer of glue on the what is it? Sorry, you guys, I'm distracted. There's a lot going on right now. On the base of your hat. And just make sure you're being very careful to, one, not get hot glue everywhere, and two, not to burn yourself, and three, just making sure that it looks neat and clean. All right, so your crochet hat is complete. Okay, if you don't want ears, the tutorial is done. If you want to add, you can either reconnect your yarn and do one row of double crochet and crochet across and reconnect to the other side if you want this to be yarn. If you want ribbon, stay tuned. Okay, so remember when I was telling you guys to leave a space in between each double crochet open so that we can thread our ribbon through? This gives the customer or whoever you're making it for ability to adjust their hat if they need to, and they can also adjust um, the bow depending on how you make your bow. So I'm just going to thread this through one side of my double crochet. And I'm just going to estimate how much yarn, I mean, not yarn, how much ribbon I would need. And I'm going to thread it through the other side in between my double crochets. Okay, so once you have your ribbon weaved in on each side, you just tie your bow how you want to, okay? Also, I get my pins off of, well, I got these pins off of Amazon that I'm going to show you guys so that if you guys want to embellish your hats also, I got them from Amazon. Sometimes I get them from Temu, sometimes I get them from Shein, and other times I get them from Amazon. It just depends. If I need it tomorrow, I'm going to Amazon. If I got some time, I'm going to Shein. All right. So you're just gonna tie your bow however you want. And I like to super glue how I want my bow to sit. So that's another reason why I like to do it this way with the weaving in, because um, it gives me a foundation to glue on so that I can make my bow exactly how I want it to sit. All right. So I got my bow how I want it. I'm going to cut these little fringes and I'm going to grab a lighter to seal the little fringes of our ribbon off. Okay, so like I said, I just get a lighter and carefully burn my ends. Just wave it across so that it's not, putting a burn mark on your ribbon. All you're doing is just trying to get rid of these little strays. I got the wrong lighter for this. All right. And I like to burn my little frizzy off my crochet if I see them somewhere on the hat. And there's your bow. I got these, like I said, for Amazon. So I usually find like a little cute little a standalone piece like this, and this is a pin, so I can pin it on there. Or I can hot glue it. I'm gonna pin this on since it's a pin and it's removable for the customer if they would like to remove it. See, super cute. And then I want this little part right here to sit down. So I'm just gonna put a dollop of glue to make it lay like I want it to. Like so. And then your hat is complete. And then you can add any iron-ons or whatever you want, other beads, charms and stuff. I'm going to do all of that in the next video, the ear video. But yeah, if you guys want ears on your hats, stay tuned for the next video.